before we get going, let's all stand up. Give the person next to you a punch on the shoulder. I'm just kidding. And sit down. We're halfway through the session. Feel like we needed to just liven things up a little bit. Cool. So we're making global regulation user-centric for the first time, we believe, in history. And I want to just share a bit of the passion around that and a bit of the love. Law and legislation regulation can be tricky. And I'm sure we've all had examples of that in our own lives. If you're a global company, though, it's a real pain. It's a proper pain because regulations it's a proper mess globally. Firstly, you've got different countries making different kinds of laws. It's localized, sometimes on a country level, but in federated countries, the problem scales because you've got different laws at each federated level. And so if you want to know for each of your assets, each of your operations, or per product, what the law is that pertains to it, and you want to know it now. You don't want to go in for a consultation, and you don't want to have to be told by in-house legal that'll take too long and that there's no time or budget for that. And you want to know what the law is. Sorry, you can't have it. All right. So this is a core belief that we have. Most regulatory law, when you get down to the relevant bit, it's not that complicated. The problem is that law is just terribly organized. So finding the relevant bits is the problem. The problem as well is that laws in unstructured data. So you've got different law all over the place, but it's different in different ways. So sometimes it's published in a book. Here you go. Non-digitized. Sometimes it's published in text, HTML, and then different kinds of XML. And so there's no consistent, universally available, machine-readable format for legislation. And we're changing that. So here's a lovely quote. I love this quote. I teach contract law at Harvard Law School, and I can't understand my credit card contract. I just can't. I think it's actually probably I just can't. It's not designed to be read. So professor of law at Harvard Law School. And Libryo's got, at this stage, not much to do with contract law, but everything to do with regulation, but the principle is the same. It applies to regulation too. So we're redesigning law. Okay. There's a match and it's been made in heaven. I practiced as a lawyer for just shy of 10 years. And what I realized was that law is all about matching. Client comes into your office, and client tells you a story. They give you a whole lot of facts in a story. And it's your job as a lawyer to say, these facts mean that this law applies. And you match them, and then you come up with your legal advice. And so that's actually what databases do as well. So relationships in databases it's the same kind of thing. It's matching. So what we're doing is we're taking every concept that exists in the world, including things that are in operation. So, for example, an event is being run today. That's a concept. Event is a concept. What is the law that pertains to the running of an event? And so the law that relates to events, all the sections, all the text fragments, all together matched to that is it creates it allows you to know what the obligations are. That's matching, and that can be done in a database. So we're doing that in a database, and what that allows us to do is to put the user at the center of their regulatory universe. Okay. So instead of law being organized according to the things that librarians said it was organized according to, it's now organized according to the things or the concepts that the law regulates, okay, in this library database. So what this enables, and this gets practical now and less kind of ethereal, it enables anyone in any situation to know easily and to be updated of the regulation for them, so their law. Okay, so let's ground this. You're running a energy company with a whole lot of solar installations, and you want to know, for one, in the middle of the desert somewhere, what regulation applies to it. Cool. So for each operational asset, we create what we call a Libryo. So a Libryo is the regulatory universe that normal people, in addition to lawyers, can navigate and know what the law is for them. And so whenever I click the button, it's basically like a massive time and money saver where you didn't have to ask a regulatory lawyer or a legal librarian. So what's all the law that applies to this legal asset? Well, there it all is. Is that useful? No, but there it all is. Okay, well, today I'm dealing with, I want to know what the law that regulates radiation is. Cool, type that in. Pick from 3 suggestions. In relation to workers, that's the law. That's like the needle in the haystack. That was just a lot of dollars that you saved right there on legal fees. And so for each of those, everything that's blue in the platform has a plain language summary which introduces the section and gives the obligations in plain language. It's translatable into any language. You can see the section and you can comment and set reminders, all kinds of other good stuff. That really is something to smile about. Cool, so I was told this was a VC pitch, so here we go, pitching for money. We're taking this thing global, and that takes a lot of cash. We're currently raising a Series A, and why you should be interested if you're an investor in the room today is that we're addressing a massive market. It's the total addressable market is massive. We don't know quite how big, but it's the sum of a whole lot of industries that currently try to answer the question, what's the law here and now? In addition to that, we're liberating a latent market, which is many, many billions, and it consists of all the people that would ask a lawyer if it just didn't cost so much and it was available on demand and not in 2 weeks' time. So the partners kind of track the market. I mean, the incumbents, but we have a partnering approach where we actually partner with those service providers who often provide the services that Libryo does, but as a loss leader, with the hope that they'll be able to provide high-margin services on top of that. We say provide the high-margin services on top of an annuity subscription revenue instead of a loss. So the mission is 7 continents, 7 years, all regulatory law, and to surpass the 100 million pound annual recurring revenue mark en route to that. That's some of our progress, over 50 countries coverage so far, over 100 customers, and in 27,000 different contexts by some customers that you will recognize. And those are some of our growth stats. I'm not going to go through them all now, but they're exciting. And that's us. And we have under 10 seconds for me to thank you for a wonderful opportunity. And it's been good being up here and chatting to you guys about Libryo. Thank you very much.